On the 647th day of the war in Ukraine, the fighting was concentrated in these areas. In Donetsk front, heavy battles are ongoing north and southwest of Avdiivka, as well as inside the town of Marinka. North of Avdiivka, clashes between the Russian and Ukrainian forces remained concentrated near the village of Stepove. After being pushed back from the areas west of the railway as a result of the successful Ukrainian counterattacks, Russian forces resumed their offensive operations and threw waves of infantry forces to attack the eastern edge of Stepove, as well as tree-line positions south of the village, and as a result, they were able to gain a foothold in this direction. Ukrainian sources reported that the Russian troops advanced about 600 meters from their positions along the railway towards the west after clearing a series of trenches and dugout positions that are located between the village of Stepove and the chemical plant. Geolocated footage published by Ukrainian sources suggests that the Russian infantry forces tried to advance under the cover of night, but they suffered heavy casualties as the Ukrainian forces used drones with night vision to track the concentration of Russian units and provided the necessary information to the artillery units, who carried out an intensive shelling over the area, causing dozens of casualties to the Russian forces. Near the same area, Ukrainian sniper units ambushed the Russian infantry forces as they tried to storm their positions to the north of the chemical plant, and as a result of their effective work, dozens of Russian soldiers were liquidated. However, despite the Ukrainian efforts, it seems that the Russian infantry attacks were of a large scale, as early in the morning, Russian troops were able to reach and clear a part of the dugout positions in this area and also gained a foothold on the eastern part of the village of Stepove. On the southern part of the sector, Russian forces are still struggling to build up on their success and advance past the industrial zone southeast of Avdiivka, as the Ukrainian drone units remain highly active and cover the entire area, causing serious problems and significant losses to the Russian army. Various sources on both sides reported that Ukrainian forces had partial success south of the Tsarska Ochota strongpoint, as they restored control over some of the defensive positions in this direction, forcing the Russians to once again fall back on their previous positions behind the E50 highway. About 30 kilometers southwest of Avdiivka, Russian forces continued to attack in the direction of Marinka and were able to secure almost full control over the settlement. Yesterday, Russian sources published a video of a Russian flag raised on top of one of the destroyed buildings on the western edge of the town, claiming the full capture of Marinka. However, today Ukrainian sources informed that clashes are still ongoing in some areas on the western and northwestern parts of Marinka, as the Ukrainian soldiers still hold some positions inside the destroyed town. According to Ukrainian sources, because the Russian troops are forced to move through the very exposed terrain of the destroyed town of Marinka, they are taking heavy casualties during the ongoing battles. In Bakhmut front, the Russian forces resumed their offensive operations northwest and southwest of the city of Bakhmut, and during this week they launched a series of assaults east of Avdiivka and near Horomove, which allowed them to expand control over the northwestern outskirts of Bakhmut. A few days ago, the Russian forces captured the nearby small village of Horomove, and at the same time they put pressure southwest of Berkivka reservoir, where Russian armored units stormed and captured a number of tree-line positions, as the Ukrainian troops were forced to move west and entrench on new positions on the higher ground near the city of Chasiv Yar. Because of the presence of complex trench systems in this area and the higher ground to the west, the Russian advance in this direction is expected to slow down in the coming days and weeks. In the southern part of Bakhmut front, the territorial changes were minimal, but the Russian forces maintained a strong pressure near Klishivka and Andriivka. As a result of the continuous waves of infantry attacks, Russian forces were able to recapture a number of positions along the railway northeast of Klishivka, where heavy battles are currently taking place. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and have a great day.